What if I told you that there are epic food stories that often go untold? Join your host, Seth, as he dives into the thrilling world of food challenges and competitive eating, interviewing those who not only take them on, but create them. Buckle up for the heart pounding moments, behind the scenes experiences, and the passion fueling it all. This is Food Challenge News.
Welcome back to the Food Challenge News Podcast. I'm your host, Seth, and today I'm joined by Magic Mitch Dombrowski. How you doing today, Mitch?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty great. Have you been on any exciting food adventures recently?
Every snack, meal, dinner, what have you, is always an adventure in my eyes. But as far as contests or eating challenges go, actually, for someone who doesn't do that many contests, the last couple adventures in that regard have been contests. So, last one I had done was a couple weeks ago where I did a spicy wing eating contest that was for a local charity in my neck of the woods of Green Bay, Wisconsin. Fortunately, I came up just shy of first place, but that's what happens when you live by the code of clean plate, clean conscience, and it's a bit of a low key kind of contest, and everyone's just kind of, we'll just put it that from people that had been watching who won, they said that they left a fair amount of meat on the bones, but that's contest for you. And other than that, other notable one I did is I actually did a pulled pork eating contest during the NFL draft, which was it was definitely a unique experience, a lot of fun, despite the fact that we were outside and I was just getting hammered down on by all the rain during the contest, which was the craziest thing to be a part of. Pulled the W on that one and end up winning a $2,600 grill prize package, which is the craziest prize I've ever won for a contest or a challenge or whatsoever.
So, how'd you get involved in the NFL draft one?
So it was actually an open invitation, and funny enough, for a contest that had such an epic prize, not only that, but they did it for the same prize for 2 days. That they were actually shorthanded on contestants. And, one of my friends actually reached out to me because I had no idea about it, and he's like, "Are you going to go participate in this?" And I was like, "I am now that I'm aware of it." So yeah, and then I just got myself ready for it, and I reached out to the restaurant about it and signed the waiver and all that fun jazz. And then, yeah, when I showed up, it was interesting because I noticed that at the establishment, they were asking about people to just, fill in seats to join it. And I was just like, that is absolutely crazy, especially for the prizes at hand.
What prize did you say you won again from that one?
So I won a grilled prize package. So it came with a grill, a really nice grill, might I add, from Pit Boss was I think the sponsor for the contest. Griddle, a smoker, each of them having coverings, and a couple accessory kits, like one for like barbecue, thermometer set, and like one with just like big utensils, and several bags of smoke pellets. And it was crazy too because it all pretty much came shipped to my address in one big shipment. It was like 700 pounds.
So, let's talk your most recent YouTube video. It featured a ghost pepper sauce. What was that challenge about, and how are you in general with spicy foods?
So for that particular challenge, that was actually a challenge I was helping the restaurant set up because they previously had a challenge, but it was a pay to play. So regardless if you won or not, you still have to pay for the challenge. And it wasn't that enticing because I would probably put it at the side, not much for a size comparison, not much bigger than, say, like a supersized Big Mac. Anyone could pretty much eat it. It wasn't really that much of a challenge. So I'd been working with the restaurant to come up with a new version of the challenge that they would reuse to revamp up their upcoming menu. And I wanted to feature the Ma and Pa Bell sauce, which is the ghost pepper sauce that they had, which was actually very good. It had a heat that built up really like a lot over time, but it was actually quite flavorful. It wasn't like if you've ever seen the Hot Ones show where they build up the spice levels, and you have Da Bomb where it's just kind of it's notorious just for being absolutely brutal, no flavor. It's just all just kind of punches you in the mouth with taste, where this was not that case. It was very delicious, though. We'll say that, however, after the challenge, the real test was kind of fighting the heat because I won't say, I won't spoil it, I won't say anything too graphic, but I'll just say, man, was I glad that my hotel was nearby. Now, as far as just general spice goes, the longest time, I was actually not too fond of it. I tried to avoid it, generally speaking, because even challenges that would have the spice wouldn't be the focus, but say like a breakfast challenge that had maybe some jalapenos in it, it would just wreck my guts. So that kind of gave me a little like spice PTSD kind of whenever it come around, I see a challenge with it. I don't know exactly what happened, but maybe over the past couple years or so, just something changed. I think I've been more capable of handling it well. This was mostly apparent when I did the world's spiciest poke bowl challenge in Las Vegas. I believe had Carolina Reaper extract and ghost pepper flakes in it. I knew it was hot. Trust me, believe me, it was hot, but it wasn't to the point where I was like beelining it to the bathroom or, having a, when people, you hear these situations where people got to go to the emergency room or something like, or even just feeling miserable. Like I didn't experience any of that. And I'd actually talked to some of the other eaters who have done spicier challenges, and that was more their thing. And based off what they were giving me on feedback, I was like, oh, really? There's actually a lot, to them, it was a lot hotter than I was expecting. So now I'm kind of thinking I'm like half chili head, but I'm going to be dipping my toes into seeing how far I can push it. I'm not looking to ruin myself, but it is something I'm being more open to. So we'll see how things go with food adventures of the spicy variety in the future.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye out for that. And when you talk about the extract, did it hit you right away?
Yeah, it had an initial kick. Like, it's there, but it also did have the build up. So like, I mean, it was there was incentive to finish sooner rather than later, which is usually the case with spicy challenges. In this particular case, it was because I knew that with this particular challenge too, there was going to be an afterburn. And when I was just sitting with it, you can still feel it just build and build and build.
Is there any prep or training you do beforehand when you know you're going to embark on a spicy journey?
The only sort of strategy I would probably look to consider is depending on if it's just so, like if we're talking like spicy wings or a very small portion of something, but it's just extremely spicy. Considering it's not going to fill me up, I would consider eating something beforehand just to build a base. Or maybe even coat my stomach with, say, like some Pepto-Bismol or something of that nature, or something that would just help nullify all that heat, and then just wouldn't leave me just completely vulnerable to being wrecked from the spice itself come challenge time. Which, I mean, doing something like that on an empty stomach almost feels like you're just asking for trouble.
Yeah, I bet. It sounds like it could be brutal. So, how did your food challenge journey originally begin? Like, were you hesitant at first, or did you just jump right into it?
So I actually kind of just jump right into it. I kind of did because, um, but it was something that I was planning because I actually did my first food challenge as a way to celebrate my weight loss. So back in my junior year in college, I actually peaked at 300 pounds. And so that was when I realized I hit ridiculously high number. I knew I needed to make some lifestyle changes. So over the course of several months, I lost about 60 pounds, but I never did anything to celebrate the weight loss. And when I was watching the show Man vs. Food one day, it kind of just dawned on me with my birthday coming up. And I was like, you know what? How ironic would it be to celebrate my weight loss by partaking in a food challenge where I'm just eating a ton of food, whether it's a big burger or something like that. I ended up finding a 6-pound burger challenge in Milwaukee that I did. And so I looked for ways to train for strategies and such. And that's how I came across professional eater Randy Santel. He had tips and strategies on how to prepare yourself for a food challenge, and then took some of his tips, attempted the challenge, finished it in time. And even I had a friend who challenged me to finish a concrete mixer after. So he challenged me to that. And my only response was, I'll try to take it down if you're paying for it. So he ended up getting me a extra large concrete mixer with extra toppings on it. And I actually downed it like a champ, but I felt miserable after. But That night was a whole lot of fun. It was a very unforgettable moment. And so after that, I just started doing challenges here and there. And I wasn't really that hesitant. I kind of was more like I dove right in, but I also kind of went in with the expectation that some of the, especially the first couple of challenges I did, I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can take this all down. So like I still just kind of went for it, but I just, wasn't sure of the outcome.
So is it fair to say you were hooked from there then?
Oh yes, especially the first night. I was absolutely addicted. You could say it.
So fast forwarding to some of your other food challenge adventures, why did you begin filming your food challenge attempts, and then what inspired you to hit that record button?
Honestly, it comes down to my trips with Randy Santel. So I was actually his camera guy, and I edited his videos from I think 2013 to I believe it was May of 2021. I think in those early days when we did or I guess where it really hit me was we were on a trip overseas. I was with him on filming. I was doing a few challenges myself, but I wasn't recording all of them at the time. But once was on a trip with him, I saw that it wasn't just like an American thing, because that was at the time kind of preconceived notion. It was like, oh, you gluttonous American, blah 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 blah. But going overseas and seeing how people were receptive to it, had a fun time with it, and just the overall excitement of it. That's kind of where I saw that, oh, it's not just an American thing. And as I kept going with it, then I was just like, you know what? Why not just start filming challenges? Even if I don't ever put them up anywhere, I just have them for myself. It would at the very least be a nice keepsake.
And how did you like being the cameraman and then also editing videos, like as opposed to eating? Did you like that as well?
It was a good mix of both. So, at the time when I was his editor on the tour together, it was just a good fit because then at the time when Randy wanted someone to film, the costs for having someone, travel around film with you greatly diminished if he's able to, pay for his own meals, via free food challenges and things of that nature. So, and then eventually it was just fine because I knew I was going to be filming my own stuff and editing anyway. So it was already a skill set that I had. So I went to school for media arts and game development. Well, my main focus was multimedia arts and higher focus on video editing. So then that sort of all just worked out well. And then even the trips themselves worked out great because we would have a pretty aggressive schedule as far as doing like 5 or 6 challenges a week, depending on what kind of a trip it was. If it was a longer trip, seas, which would be like 2 months, you do have that aggressive pace, with the weight gain and everything, and just eating burgers and all these more savory, greasy foods because it's usually burgers, pizza, and all that. Especially after the weight gain, you're kind of looking to take a break. So then I pivot from the eating to the video edit.
There's also a lot of strategies when it comes to food challenges, and one of your signature moves is rocking that ring pop. Where did that idea come from, and does it actually help you during a challenge?
I'll be completely honest with you. There's no strategy as far as helping finish the food faster that involves the ring pop. I tell people like, yeah, I guess it is possible in certain circumstances where if you wanted a little flavor fatigue, something to counteract flavor fatigue, a little something sweet after if you're eating like a greasy burger or something like that to have the sweeter flavors. But honestly, it's mostly just kind of like fun foodie fashion, as I like to put it. It's just for a little bit of flair. Same reason why I wear the candy bracelet. Same reason why I wear my foodie shirts, foodie socks, and then like if I'm doing a pizza or calzone challenge, I'm wearing that turtle hoodie. It's all just kind of a fun foodie vibe, but as far as strategy goes, there's no thought behind as far as strategy goes. It might be a little bit gimmicky, but it's just kind of just the vibe I want to kind of put out there.
Has a restaurant ever came over and told you can't use the ring pop because it'd give you some sort of advantage? Because like I know Nathan Klein on one of his videos, I believe he was told that it was okay for him to use like a marinara sauce, and then halfway through his challenge, a manager came over and told him like you can't use it and that he shouldn't have been able to use it anyway.
That's interesting. Actually, there is one time, and it was actually like probably one of the closest to like an actual use case scenario. would be the spicy wing challenge. And the reason why I think I had it on, but I couldn't touch it or anything because the rules stated that you're not allowed to use any. Basically, you can't have any form of like assistance. But that's like no drinks, no napkins, nothing. So that would be part of it. So that was like literally the one time I could think of where it was like, yeah, you can't just make sure you can wear it, but you just make sure you don't, use it because you could use it as a potential advantage. That's actually like one of the few, like that's the only time I can think of where I was told like, hey, you can't have that.
Okay. Yeah, because I've always wondered about that, if it was ever contested.
No, I mean, yeah, you're not the only one who's asked.
So back in July of 2022, you uploaded a video called "The Worst Restaurant Food Challenge I've Ever Done," and you actually put 3 exclamation points in the title.
Oh yeah.
So it was Team USA versus Team Greece and featured a huge variety of sauces. What went down during that challenge, and how did you push through it?
Okay, so I do a fairly decent job of kind of explaining that in the video as far as what the challenge is, but just a little synopsis. FYI, this was before, just because it posted in 2022, but it was years before, so it wasn't during like COVID or anything like that. This was part of a summer food challenge tour I was doing with Randy, and we got to Greece on this Greece part of the trip. Randy was actually working out with some local organizations on helping create restaurant food challenges with some of the restaurants because there weren't actually any known established challenges in the area, but we wanted to get a win in Greece. So that was kind of what we were doing, just trying to work with. Randy was doing all the legwork as far as keeping in contact with the local organization that was help setting some of these challenges up. And our assumption was it was going to be something traditional that accentuated Greek food that would just be supersized. Our assumption was going to be like a giant euro. And we showed up to the restaurant. Our assumptions were basically dead wrong. We saw this sandwich bread that was harder than a brick. And things only got worse from there because as you can see in the video, I'm just trying to focus on them making it. And I'm just seeing all kinds of, sort of a hodgepodge of different ingredients and different sauces. That was kind of one of the contention points where they were just adding what seemed at random different sauces. And so they didn't really seem like it had any rhyme or reason. And now I'll also set this too. We had just flown in to Greece the night we attempted it. We were already jet lagged, and this was probably at the time was the latest I've ever done a food challenge. I think we started at like 10 p.m. But we definitely weren't on our A game at the time. But we did have one sitting, and we kind of knew that we were under. Also, another assumption was that Team Greece wasn't going to be able to finish, and so with that combined with the fact that we had one sitting, it was like we have to finish our half. We have to win. So not just to say that we won, but it's like, otherwise, what are we doing here? The restaurant kind of looks bad. We look kind of bad. And it's just like, it's almost like we would have done it for nothing. But I mean, granted, it was a lot of food. And, and like I said, it was just a hodgepodge of different stuff. We're plowing through, and we both kind of hit the wall, so to speak, when we were getting towards the bread as we finished all the inside. But one thing that kept me personally pushing through, one was the mindset of ABC, which is always be chewing. I got to give a shout out to Ramsey the Mantis Hilton because I believe that's where I first heard it from. But then also it was just the fact that I was watching Randy, who at one point had to take a little break to like turn around because he physically couldn't look at the food without starting to feel ill. But I mean, I knew he was pushing himself to the brink, and that kind of motivated me. Like he's, he's giving it his all, so I can't let him down and not give it my all. So I think we both went through like 6 cans of Diet Coke just to kind of wash away the taste. And for us both, we both can use Diet Coke to our advantage to help burp up excess air pockets. I don't recommend for everyone, but if you're able to make yourself burp, it's not a bad thing to try out. And yeah, we just slugged through it, and I felt it for the next 48 hours in Greece. Trust me, I felt it.
So did you mostly taste like the sauces?
So, yeah, a big part of it was the sauces on the bread. Like there was like this mustard-ish on one and then like a tomato paste on the bottom of the bun. And it was just at that point I was already so full, so any of the stronger flavors like that were kind of more amplified for me as far as being off-putting. What I ended up doing is because the inside of the bread was a little bit softer, I'd actually kind of peel that away, make a little like savory Swiss Debbie roll, like Swiss cake roll of sorts. That's how it kind of turned out. But so I would taste the outside, I would taste the bread since I was on the outside, and I would just chase it with a little bit of Diet Coke, just so I would minimize any taste of the mustard or that sauce. That's kind of how I was chipping away at it. And then once I got to the harder exterior, it was just kind of taking these little chipmunk bites and chipping away at it, just reminding myself, ABC, always be chewing. ABC, always be chewing. Because I knew that if I stopped like Randy did, I probably wouldn't be able to keep going.
So I bet you both were relieved to get it done.
Relieved seems like is a strong word, but it's I mean, yeah, we were happy we were done, but I mean, we were both just hurting after it. I didn't do it anymore. We were there for another 2 days. I couldn't do any more challenges. I remember just having it I felt like a bowling ball for sure the next day, and it was hard to walk. Even the next couple hours after that challenge, when I was just kind of chilling and relaxing, getting in and out of chairs was like most. It felt like an athletic feat, like an amazing athletic feat, because it just took so much willpower to do it, and just because I physically it was so hard to move around.
So on the other side of it, what are some of your favorite food challenges?
And it's a difficult one to answer, but I'm gonna answer because I kind of like to break it into two categories. But for this, well, I guess I'll say, but two categories is usually just one based off of the food and one just based off on the overall experience. But if I had to, just generally the ones that kind of my gut feeling, the ones that come to me right away are number three would be a pad thai challenge I did in Spain. It was I think the first or second time I've ever had pad thai, and it was just so incredible. And there was like crushed peanut, they had like a peanut sauce to it that was really nice, and some crushed peanuts that added a fantastic texture and mouthfeel to it. And the only thing I kind of regret is how fast I just went to town and sent it down. Like I just rushed it, and I was just like, I could have easily ordered another bowl, but I get some later. But again, I try to not be too excessive as far as extracurriculars when it comes to food challenges, especially when I'm filming. But so that was number three. Number two, by far the best tasting pizza I've ever had, challenge or none, a 40-inch pizza I did in Scotland. And it was like a thinner crust, but what really spoke out to me on that one was like there was a sweetness in the sauce. It sounds weird to say like the sweetness as far as pizza challenges go, but it was just right amount, and there's a little bit of seasoning on there that just I've never had a pizza just quite like that, and it was absolutely incredible. And my number one favorite food challenge, I think would probably just even including the overall experience, was the Crazy Crepe challenge in Long Island. And I did it with another eater, Wayne Alhenio. And it was by far not only like, it's just a great challenge because one of my favorite things is challenges that are unique and have a lot of variety to them. Well, this one had 3 different types of crepes. It had a breakfast crepe with egg, cheese, bacon, and then a Thanksgiving crepe with turkey, stuffing, and cranberry sauce, and then a dessert crepe with, I believe it was chocolate syrup, bananas, strawberry, and Nutella. And it also had a Belgian waffle with, I think, a scoop of ice cream or two, and a buffalo chicken wrap, and then I believe it was a strawberry smoothie. So that one for me like ticked all the boxes, and it was just delicious challenge. And I knew that at the time, Wayne was going to be just getting after it, going for like a speed record challenge on it, trying to break the record. So there was no way and I knew that meant he was going to get a little messy, which is not, it was something I try to avoid. I knew I could just take my time and just kind of savor each item and just enjoy the flavors. And it was just an incredible experience.
Yeah, those all sound really tasty and just like an overall good experience. So moving on to YouTube, what has been the most difficult part of recording content for YouTube?
Probably just getting around to film challenges if you're, especially with the focus on restaurant food challenges. So, I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. It's just, I mean, that's the biggest expense. I know some people, like, part of the reason why later on I'm going to be looking to do some at home challenges, change things up. But that's part of the difficulty as far as the YouTube side of it goes. Mostly just getting to different restaurants because you only got, like, if you're just trying to do stuff local, you got so many options. You kind of have to look outside your city, then you got to look outside, the rest of the state and sort of that stuff. And that's a big reason why and Annie and I would do the tours and stuff, or even when I just do a tour nowadays, like, I try to hit as many as I can while I'm traveling, just because it doesn't pay to, go out somewhere, do a couple challenges, fly back, edit the videos, and fly out again. So you'd rather just try to get as many pieces of content as you can while you're kind of out and about doing your travels. Plus, it gives you, when you're coming back, you take a break and lose all the weight or whatever that you possibly might have put on from the challenges. Other than that, I would probably say something I've been trying to work on more is being more efficient as far as getting the content out. Because I do currently have a backlog of videos. I've been trying to look to post more often, just trying to get the efficiencies and trying to always make my videos as entertaining and engaging as they possibly can.
And in addition to those, you'll occasionally live stream on social media featuring everything from Q&As with your audience to chatting about your day. What's it like interacting with fans in real time?
Well, I love it. It's always fun, and it's always been a positive experience. So, I mean, that certainly helps. Just one thing I'm trying to do be better is a little bit more present, or as it's easier. Well, I'll say that it's easier to be more present with live streams when you're just kind of hanging out versus kind of be having an on-camera presence during a challenge where you're on the clock, and at the same time if you're going live during a challenge, trying to keep folks updated, or even if you have someone that's reading different or chat messages or something like that. But I love it. I mean, I think it's one of the responding to people, even responding to people's comments and videos is like one of my favorite parts of posting a new video, is just to see how everyone reacted and how much how much fun they had watching it, and some of the cheeky antics that I do and things of that nature.
Has anyone ever said they've gotten into challenges because of you, like whether it's taking them on or just watching them?
I've had a couple people that said, "Oh yeah," especially if I ever done a challenge that was near them, like, "Oh, I've thought about doing challenges for so long, but I just didn't know about any of them in my area, and then I happened to come across your video, and I might buy one just so I can see if I can get a win and check that off my bucket list."
So how did you get the nickname of Magic Bitch?
Generally, for the most part, I tell people, "Oh, it was just a funny name that I make the food disappear," kind of thing. But honestly, if there's any ladies that could guess, you're probably right. It's actually more. It's more down in the lines of what a lot of people would think was, as far as back when Magic Mike was hopping and riveting and stuff like that. Actually, where I got the name from was I was actually at a wedding with someone who I was seeing at the time. I was on the party bus while the main bridesmaid, the party of the grooms and all that were getting photos. And it was actually pretty tame. So I was just hanging out with some of the other boyfriends and girlfriends of the party or whatever. It was pretty tame. And I noticed that there was, this is kind of, the setting was set up to have a good time. Like, there's wine, there's booze and what have you, and this and that. And I was like kind of tame this whole time. Like, I just made it talking to them. They're like, "Yeah, it's whatever." I'm like, "All right, next song I know that I really jam out to, I'm gonna pop off." And I wasn't even like, I had a few drinks, but I was just like, "No, we got to do something here." So everyone got back up on the bus, and we're going to our next destination, and a song by Pitbull was on. I can't, one of his, classic party bangers. I forget which one it was, but I heard it and I knew it right away. I was like, oh, and I looked at the people, people that were on the bus and gave them this look like, oh, it's about to go down. So I get up, and the one piece of information that I left out so far was like in the middle of this party bus is a we'll just call it a stripper pole. I was gonna try to swerve around to say like an athletic pole. No, you got a pole like that on the bus. It's a stripper pole. Oh, I'm kind of like I'm getting everyone's attention, and I'm kind of busting some moves, and I point straight at the stripper pole. And I kind of do this like runway strut, making my way to the pole, and I just started swinging around it and doing some insane stuff, just twirling around. I even surprised myself, but all the ladies were just like aghast. All the fellas are just cheering me on, and the photographer in front of the bus did like a quick 180, and then as I'm swinging around, he's just getting as many photos as he can. And then while I'm doing it, all the ladies on the bus are just chanting, "Magic Mitch, Magic Mitch," and I'm just swinging around having the time of my life. And I've got one photo of it, which maybe I'll reveal when I hit a subscriber milestone, but we'll see. But I've got one photo that basically encapsulates that entire moment. That's exactly when Magic Mitch was born. Wasn't really destined for food challenges at the time, but that's where he was. That's the origin story.
Yeah, it's a very interesting origin story, and sounds like it's stuck from there, and it sounds like you were the life of the party.
Yeah, for someone who was used to be a very closeted introvert, it was definitely a sort of a break the mold kind of moment for me.
When you got into food challenges, it was already kind of built in. Magic Mitch.
Yeah, and everyone's got a nickname for I don't know many people who don't have nicknames. When it comes to, it's almost like a wrestling shtick kind of thing, where it's like everyone's got their names. So like, I feel like everyone's got a nickname or should have a nickname when it comes to food challenges or your eat your name and things of that nature. I've actually gave out. I know there's two names I actually get credit for. One of them is actually my eating rival, Eager Ethan from Minnesota. I give him Eager Ethan is his actual eating name, even though I've got a ton of names for him, just because he used to be a disgusting deviant when it came to his eating behavior. And so anyone who knows that rivalry knows why I call him things like the putrid filth monger, ravenous gorger, and things of that nature. But then I don't know if you know of from the Czech Republic, Steel Rod Redeem. I'm also take claim to giving him that nickname. That one was a lot of fun too. But yeah, everyone's got to have a good nickname. Just adds a little bit extra fun and flair to the whole thing.
Yeah, I'll have to think up of one of mine someday. I don't take on challenges, at least at this point. I'll update everyone if I ever decide to. But yeah, I think it'd be cool to have like a stage name.
Yeah, I mean, I can, if you want me to, I'll put, I'll ponder some ideas and get back to you.
That'd be awesome. So, on to hobbies and future goals. What are some of your favorite hobbies? What do you like to do?
So, let's say working out, lifting weights has been a big thing. Always enjoy it now ever since a weight loss journey. That's always been an integral part of what I like to do and things of that nature. I will say I am big into video games, but I do admit it is a bit of a vice, so I try to avoid it. A lot of the games I do like nowadays are time sinks, but like the last game I played I would say is more modern, Space Marine 2. And I do dabble in it from time to time, and I will say like I'm holding off at the moment, but when the time comes out, I do plan on playing Doom. Was it the latest one, The Dark Ages, and then the latest Borderlands. But as far as other hobbies go, one that I've actually recently picked up on. Now, I'm not saying I'm anywhere near capable in it. I'm still just in the introductory phase, the 101 classes, but I'm picking up Cuban salsa dancing. This was kind of a soft New Year's resolution as far as wanting to do something that one would get me out of my comfort zone, which it definitely has. Two, get me to in a more social event, and so that kind of checked both boxes. Plus, if I come relatively competent in Cuban salsa dancing as a single guy, I think that's a not a bad trait to have for, I don't know any ladies that would say, "Oh, he's into salsa dancing." That's a big ick for me.
Going back real quick to what you said about video games, I also love video games. I'm pretty big into like Rocket League and Halo and games of that nature. Is that Borderlands one? That's not out yet, right? The new Borderlands?
No, I believe it's coming out soon. Like, and Borderlands is one of my favorite. It's probably in my top 5 favorite franchises. Because growing up, I was a big, especially during college, I was big into Diablo 2. But back in college, I play a lot of Call of Duty and Diablo 2. And so like when Borderlands started coming out, it's like those put together. So I was like, of course I'm going to love it.
So what's your go-to favorite cheat treat?
Honestly, I don't think I actually have one. Which sounds crazy. Like there's not one that like will always go to top of mind, but again, I guess maybe I'll say this. It's actually, that's not true because it's a little nuanced. Because if I have it in 2 kind of categories. One is like a treat that I like to go with. I'm trying to just keep slim and trim like I am right now for upcoming challenges or anything like that. If I'm trying to diet down, which is kind of like, and that's usually either fruit or like I make a homemade protein pudding, which it does the job. It's a treat, but macros and like calories and all that. It keeps me in check. But if I'm going for something I think this is where you're actually trying to get me at. But we're talking something that's just an unadulterated fat kid choice. It's got to be anything from my favorite bakery, which is Uncle Mike's Bakery here in Green Bay. Definitely slept on. This place should have like nationwide attention, if you ask me. It's literally, all the bakery. I've been to, not to toot my horn or anything, I've been to bakeries all over the country and even the world. Is this still, even if you take out the bias, the hometown bias, I would still rank this at number 1. Just because they've got so many items that are just so good and so indulgent. If I had to choose one, got to be their national award-winning sea salt caramel pecan kringle. I don't know if you know what a kringle is, but it's this it's just like a Danish pastry. And we actually have two companies that are well known for it here in Wisconsin. One is Uncle Mike's, and I forget the name of the other one because it's not that important. Because this is the one that trumps it by like 100 times over. It's so good. It's a little on the sweet side, I'm not gonna lie. But it's not like where it's just like, sometimes you can have treats that are just too sweet, and it almost gets off-putting. This is, I wouldn't say this is there, but you definitely taste the sweetness, but I think it gets cut by the dough, bright or whatever, and then like get a little bit of the pecan and all. It's so good. And it is super addicting. I know for a fact that Randy Santel and his family can attest to this, because I've gotten it for them multiple times as little holiday treats, and just like anyone else I get this as a treat for, it doesn't last long. It's so good. But and I'm actually trying to work with the bakery because I would love to do a little collaboration in the future where I try to take on like either just one by itself or like a supersized one, because they're actually not. They are pretty decently sized portioned, but it's actually one of my bucket list items is to work with them and come up do a little bit of a collaboration. They do fit the profile that mesh well with me as far as the good vibes for a fun foodie time. So I'm working on it, and I hope to put a video together for everyone to watch where it's just an epic Kringle takedown or something similar to that.
Yeah, that's really amazing, and it also sounds extra delicious too. So shout out to Uncle Mike's, right?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Looking ahead, do you plan to continue your food challenge adventures?
What kind of question is that? Absolutely. So I will say this though, as far as the videos posting right now, They are what I consider the crazy hair saga. So if you've been watching the past dozen or so videos, you'll notice that I've been sporting some crazier fun hairstyles, and you'll definitely see it in the next upcoming video. But it is the video; those videos are coming to the end, and if you have been following me, the live streams and stuff, you already know that I have shaved my head, and that was the end game of growing out my hair so I could donate it to Wigs for Kids. I do have a live stream of that already up on my channel, but the crazy hair saga is coming to an end. But it's the fun antics are not over, because like I said, the crazy hair saga is ending. It's also the beginning of the Chrome Dome era. I'm going to be sporting the Mr. Clean look for a little bit for some of the videos, and we're going to look to have some fun with that as far as just having different. My sister's actually who's been helping with the hairstyles, and like she's got some interesting ideas as far as what to do with some of the different hairstyles with my hair being shorter. I think she wants to do ones with like putting kind of like shaving on one side of my head, or doing some stars or something fun like that. But also, with that being said, I'm looking to do, like I think I talked about before, was some at-home food challenges. Not sure exactly where that's going to turn out, but I do know that at the very least, it's going to involve some very spicy foods and snacks. Because I know some people have been asking if I was ever interested in doing the one chip challenges or like the hot ones lineup, and all those would be perfect fits. And again, not only just the point of those is to not only just do them at something I have at home, but part of a live stream, something to look forward to other than just the Q&A and hanging out, something else to look forward to.
Cool. Yeah, we'll definitely be on the lookout for that. Sounds like a good time.
I'm sure for those watching, I don't know, well, it could, I could be that, it could be the end for me if I'm not too careful with some of these, because I have an idea of several spicy snacks and stuff like that, and some of them, I like one example is two that kind of have me scared is like there's a Carolina Reaper gummy bear, and it's not only that, but it's like the size, it's like one whole one fits in your kind of like, it's not like this no size, it's like a super sized one, so it's, I don't know how that one's gonna go. And then there's a I think it was like labeled as like the world's spiciest beef jerky. That one's got me concerned too, just because you can't chew beef jerky super fast.
Mm-hmm.
You got to sit there and take the pain while you're chewing it. So, but like I said, it'll be a good time for sure. Whether how bad I got to suffer repercussions for your viewing entertainment, that's yet to be determined. But y'all enjoy the videos and whatnot, and support them, what have you.
I think the gummy bear one, I think that one is a little nitro. I could be wrong, but I think that one's 9 million Scoville heat units. Do you know if it's that one?
I'm aware of that one. I'm not sure if that's the one I have, because I actually got it as a gift, so I'd have to double check. But I'm aware of that nitro one. Like this one came in I think this one came in a 4-pack, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
That sounds even more absurd. Like people are wanting me to eat 4 of them at a time. Like that is, like I'm already scared of like just the one bite. Like I don't think I couldn't. That's the size of them too. The one I have, I couldn't finish it in one single bite. That's the crazy part of it. So it's like similar down the similar vein as like the beef jerky. It's like you got to sit there and take some pain. Now, if I hope it's not like one of those made with the same. Was it I forget what they're called, Haribo or whatever, that went viral for giving people disaster pants. I really hope that's not made in the same vein. I could probably tolerate one. I could probably tolerate that kind of disaster pants or deal with the heat. I do not think I could survive both of them.
Yeah, that would. Oh, that'd be questionable. Yeah.
But either way, we're sooner or later we're gonna find out how bad and brutal it is. But it'll be all for a good time. Worst comes to worst, I have some tummy troubles and poop the bed after. I mean, that I'll find out where my breaking point is. We can leave it at that.
And lastly, is there anything you want to say to anyone listening or just following your journey?
I'll just leave it at this. If you're about the good vibes and a fun, funny time, I would love to have you come join the journey. I think you got a good idea of who. If you don't know who I am, you got a good idea about me now. Like I said, yeah, if you're about the good vibes and a fun foodie time, I'd love you to check out the channel, the videos, and leave a comment. Like I said, I love responding to everyone's comments, and hope to see you there.
That concludes our interview with Magic Mitch. Mitch, thanks for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And we'll have all Magic Mitch links in the description below. And thanks for listening, everyone, as always. And we'll see you in the next episode.